Hey guys, so we're back with continuing on the N54 build, serial number 7419. We're going to continue. We're going to install the front main seal, front crankshaft seal, and then after that we're going to go ahead and install the oil pan. Okay, so I've got a nice seal installer. N54, N51, N52, N55. So that's kind of what I'm going to go ahead and use here. Before I had this seal installer, I made do with a combination of big sockets and flat punches and so on. But these this tool for the rear main seal oil, it's pretty slick. Okay, so I got my brand new seal. First thing that I want to do, I'm going to get it off of here and put it onto here. Okay. I am going to put some, this is a, how do I explain this? This is what's called a gasket eliminator. It's a Loctite product. It cures in the absence of oxygen. So if it's exposed and you still touch it, it's still going to be soft. But when there's no oxygen in these areas here, when the seal goes in, it's going to seal and it's going to protect it. These engines and any engines that you have used, and over time you're going to find nicks and dents, damages on the outer surface where this seal rides. And sometimes these grooves are not enough to protect it. So what I like to do is to just put a little bit of gasket eliminator all around. And this here, it seals up any gaps. Seals up any gaps, any kind of dings or scratches or anything within the housing there. I've been doing this for many years. I've never really had a problem, but to each his own. If you guys got a better way or a better way of doing it, let me know. Got her a nice cover. This will go right onto here, and we'll set the seal to the correct position. Sometimes, depending if you've got a groove on your hub where the seal was riding before, you may want to adjust the axial position of that seal. My hub is fine. I don't have any grooving in there, so I'm just going to put it back to where it was originally. That's it. Front main seal is installed. Alright, so we're ready to button this oil pan up, install this oil pan on the N55 here. A couple of things you want to check. Want to be able to rotate the engine a couple times. Make sure everything is free. Look at your chain module. When you rotate your engine, make sure everything rotates in alignment. Double check your visualization on your torque, your oil pump, gear, your chain module triangle bracket to the block and to the oil pump. Visually you can inspect the oil pump, make sure your angle torque looks good. Inspect your baffle, make sure your baffle, all your torque looks visually is in alignment. Do a scope, bore scope with your iPhone or whatever it is to take a look inside that baffle, make sure there's no debris or metal inside there. You probably should have done that before. Look at your bed plate bolt. You should visually be able to see all the angle torque on your bed plate bolt. Look at your piston, the ones that you can see, number 1 and number 6. Rotate it, make sure everything looks good, nothing's inside there. Same thing on number 6. Turn the engine over. If anything was going to fall out, gravity was going to fall, make it fall to the bottom. And if everything looks good, go ahead and install the oil pan. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so oil pan has been installed. All bolts have been torqued to about 7 to 8 Newton meters and then 90 degrees. Visually we can see all the markings. We're in the same direction, so we've got our 90-degree torque. Alright, this is good to go. Let's get this turned around and get the head installed. Welcome back to the channel today. We'll continue the build on the N55. We've buttoned up the bottom end, all pans installed, vacuum pump, crankshaft pulley, vacuum pump cover, complete bottom half is buttoned up. It's time for us to install the head. So that'll be the next step that we'll be doing. We're going to be installing the head. You guys can see over here, we've got the head here all ready to go. I'm going to talk a little bit about this in a minute, but I wanted to go through a couple of things with you guys here. So, before we go ahead and install the head onto the block, we want to do a few checks. You want to make sure you do some final checks, make sure everything is good. First thing, make sure the surface of your block is clean and dry. Make sure all your bolt holes are cleaned, blown out with air. There's no debris, anything inside your bolt holes. Okay. Rotate your pistons a couple times. Make sure everything feels right. Take a look of your chain as it moves within the chain guides as you rotate it. Okay. Also run a straight edge. Also run a straight edge on your block, crisscross, straight. So this is considered longitude, and this is transverse, this way. Okay, and make sure the flatness of your block is within the BMW specification criteria. I've did this already, and this block is well within criteria. It's pretty flat. Okay. So block is flat, everything is cleaned. I've rotated my pistons, make sure everything runs good. Chain guide, inspected that. Okay. Let's see what else. All right, let's move to the head here. All right, so this is a remanufactured head. The head has been completely remanufactured. We've gone ahead and cleaned it, pressure tested in a 160-degree tank, pressure tested to make sure there's no internal leaks in the castings. Head is pressure test good. All valves have been lapped into each of the valve seats. Valve guides have been checked. Anyone that needs replaced were replaced. Any valves that was bent or had any type of any indication that they were not straight were replaced. All the valves were lapped. Vacuum tests were done on each of the intake and exhaust port to confirm that we've got a high a good vacuum pull. I think this head it ranged between 28 to 29 inches of vacuum, which is pretty good. So this head is sealing pretty good. Okay. We've gone ahead and checked the flatness on the head. The head is pretty flat. The worst measurements we got was 0.0015 of warp. BMW spec is 4,000, so we're well within that. So that's the head. We've got a brand new head gasket. Before you put your head gasket on, you want to inspect, make sure there's no scratches along any of these sealing areas. Okay, inspect the gasket, make sure there's no damages, no scratches. Okay, all these areas here, make sure there's no damages or scratches. This is ready to go in. We've got a brand new set of dowels. We're going to be installing new dowels onto the block. Brand new set of head bolts. Okay. All right, let's get to it. All right, so we just rested the head on. Now we're going to go ahead and install our bolt and torque our head. We're going to add a little bit of oil to the underside, and then we're going to add some oil to the threads here. Just a little bit, not too much. Okay. Okay, again, a little bit oil on the threads and a little bit under the head. Not too much. Okay. We've performed the initial 30 Newton meter torque, and we've done the first 90-degree torque. So you guys can see there, we can see the visual marks 90 degrees from where we initially marked the cylinder head, right? So all is in alignment. That's kind of what we want to see. Next stage is going to be 180 degrees. So ideally we should come back to the same position where we are. Let's go. All right, I want to show you guys something. So the last stage in the torque is 180 degrees. So you can see we're back to the same position, but what I did, I just put another marker, a green mark. So when I look at it, between this and this, I can tell I've done 180 degrees. So you got to be careful with these, how long these are, especially with these here, because this here at the head will twist. So even though my angle meter is telling me 180 degrees, my visual on this one, it was off about 20 degrees. So I went back again and I brought it back. I did another 20 degrees and I went ahead and brought it back, so I make sure that I've got my visualization so I know these two are 180 degrees. Okay. All right, let me show you guys. I just torqued this one, right? You can see I'm short, maybe 15 degrees right there, right? Because of the twisting of the socket. So I'm going to go ahead and just do another 15 degrees or so to get that in line. Then I'm going to check it off there. Okay, so. All right, these small ones, this length of this socket, because it's a smaller torques, it twists quite a bit and it gives you a false angle reading on the torque wrench. So I'm going to show you. You can see where I'm starting at. It's pretty much aligned this way. Okay. Okay. 183, right? Let's take a look at it. You can see, right? We're probably still short about 30 degrees. That's because of the twist in the socket, the length of the shank of the socket. All right, head has been torqued. I still got the smaller bolts here, 22 Newton meters. I'll torque those in a minute. But I wanted to show you guys, you can see the green and the check mark lets me know I've done my 180. Right, nicely seats properly. You can see all the way through. Looks pretty good.